Welcome to You Know Something with Dena
Hey, look, I'm just here to entertain, inform, and keep this crazy train on track.
and Tia.
Me, I'm like your live wire that is liable to like go shalom.
They're like your cool aunts.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Fun.
I can't believe you even brought that up. That is so fun.
Informative.
It's impossible to dust potpourris.
You can't.
Sometimes serious.
Dena, sweet child. I am almost stunned. I mean, I'm being really serious.
But most of the time, not so much.
A caca. I mean, your caca and your caca. No. I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Ladies,
Hello, welcome to You Know Something with Dena and Tia. I'm Dena.
I'm tickled, Tia.
Tickled Tia. You guys don't know what happens before we actually get on here, and sometimes we get tickled. And it's hard to get ourselves together.
Exactly. Especially when Dena goes, welcome, and then goes silent for like 5 minutes. And I'm looking at her like, what now?
Are you stroking
What
out?
should we do now?
You should just take over when my mom
I didn't know if I should break into song or dance or start clapping.
Anything would have helped. Anything. CPR. Anything.
I'm sorry, next time I'll know.
Okay. All right. This is You Know Something with Dena and Tia, where we talk about one particular subject. We hope that we can share information that will be helpful to you. If not, we just have fun. Usually we just
Yes.
have fun. It's
Fun.
Just, today, Tia, we may teach some people some things talking about this topic, and it's something that I've never done, and I don't know if I ever would do it. I know you've done it quite a few times, I believe, and I think you're going to do it again, knowing you. So what I'm talking about is going on a cruise. I'm going to share tips about the best way to book a cruise, the things to do, not to do, things that have happened on cruise ships. And I'd love for you, just because you're experienced, you step in and say, no, Dana, I disagree, or yes, that's very true, or no, try this instead. Do you feel like you're knowledgeable enough from, how many cruises have you gone on, I guess is the question.
Well, I mean, several. However, the majority of them were with my husband's company, which they rented out the entire ship.
So you don't have to think about any of that kind of stuff.
No.
That's great.
I mean, you had butlers, and I mean, like the.
La-di-da.
Greg, upper management did, and so it really spoiled me.
Yeah.
About going on just a regular.
Just regular
cruise.
Civilians, us slow folks.
Yes. Now, I do, wait a minute. I do have a friend that actually goes on cruises. I promise, it seems like every month she's going on. So the more you do, then you get more perks and stuff.
Right.
Greg and I obviously have never just done cruises just outside. Yeah, I mean, wait a minute. We've done like 4 or 5, but that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say my friend takes, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's not a joke. She probably does 7 a year.
Wow.
Easy.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I have 2 friends that I went to school with, and they were both single. I think they're married now, but when they were single, they would go to cruises together every year. I mean, that was their big vacation. They loved it. They didn't want to do anything else. They became part of a cruise community, cruise group Facebook pages, and they knew all the tricks. And they would do the all-inclusive thing, and they just swore, like, Dean, you've got to do it. It's just the greatest. I think it's for some people and not for other people, maybe, personalities. And there's so many different kinds of cruises that you can take. But, well, maybe we can learn some things together here, since you just were all fancy and didn't have to really do any planning or anything with your previous cruise experience.
Well, no, on the 5 that we did not take with Gojo, then we had to do planning and stuff.
Okay.
And we were having to plan for this one.
Right.
Because cruises have changed quite a bit.
Like, you mean post-COVID or?
Well, no, I've not been on one since COVID, but I'm talking about just like you were talking about all inclusive.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there are ships that have that, but not the one we're taking because we had to buy a drink package. I'm
wow.
talking drink package. I'm talking even soft drinks,
Wow.
and then you're allotted. You know, if you do drink alcohol, then you're allotted 4 a day.
Ah.
And then soft drinks, you know, depending on what the package is, and that you have to pay for kids too.
Wow. So can you bring like water, bottled water, or anything on?
You can bring up to, I don't know what it is now, but maybe it's like a case of water. But think about tugging that around with your suitcases and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's about it.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good. Well, you've got some knowledge you can share. First of all, we're going to go through tips for the first-time cruiser. It's very important to book the cruise that's right for you because there's, like I said, there's a lot of different kinds. If you envision a lot of activity and sports, you want to choose a cruise like Royal Caribbean that caters to that. If you want more spa days, that's Celebrity or Holland America. That's kind of just lounging around the pool and going to spas. Large family getaway is more of a princess cruise that offers a nice mix of activity and traditional cruising. Would you agree with all that?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is your, and you don't have to share anything you don't want to share. This is your personal business. But what type of cruise are you going on? Is it an active
Royal
cruise?
Caribbean.
Royal. Okay.
Okay, because my husband and the other men that are in our group all scuba dive.
Oh, okay.
But see, everybody is pretty much like an excursion. You know, usually do excursions. I'm the one that really is the least amount of going. Like they do zip lining. I don't have any desire
Right.
to.
So what do you do to stay on the ship, or do you get out off and watch them do what they're going to do when it's?
I just like to walk around and then just see places I've not seen before. I like to see like the culture, and then I like to, go through like little shops, like not shops, tourist shops that you buy stuff, just shops like that
represent the local
yes,
culture.
Yes, that have like things you'd never see anywhere else.
Yeah.
I love doing that
Really
kind of
cool.
stuff. Except this cruise, I'll be walking.
A lot of walking. Oh, that's
We're
right.
training.
That's right.
I've got an 8 and a 9 mile to do.
I was telling my
on a
mom,
Saturday.
I said, Tia's going on a cruise during our training, our highest mile training sessions, or some of our mid-high, excuse me. And Mom said, I can just see her walking real fast around that ship around and around and around.
I know, but it's just, the good thing is on those real high mile days, we are at sea. So when we have the 5 and the 6 and the 5 and the 4 throughout the week, then, I can get a whole lot of that either in the morning before we get off the ship and go into, or either just walk really fast and leave everybody that I'm with while we're off
will.
the ship.
You
Bye-bye. See ya.
Okay. Number 2 tip, avoid shorter cruises. If at all possible, avoid the 3 to 4 day cruise. Now, we're talking about first-time cruisers. As a first cruise experience, cruise lines mostly use older and smaller ships to do the short cruise runs. To get the best and most full cruise experience, opt for a 6 to 7 day cruise where you can really experience all the cruise has to offer. Now, I'm glad I read that because I would think maybe I want to just try cruising because I don't know when I get out in the middle of the ocean and I can't see any land. Am I going to freak? And am I going to be panicked? Am I going to be bored? So I might try a small one, but that would not be that. So there are really smaller ships than.
Yes, but this past Thanksgiving, my niece and her husband and 2 of his boys went on a 3-day. It was a Thanksgiving cruise.
Oh, okay.
They had the greatest time ever.
Oh, really?
Enjoyed themselves.
Now, does a cruise like that normally just like get out into the ocean so you can't see land, but it doesn't really go anywhere? You stay on the ship.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't forget what they call that something when you don't go to other ports. You just get out of the where you feel like you're out.
Kind of like the ships that go out so far where you can gamble on a ship.
Oh, so it's legal to gamble on the ship?
Of course you can.
Yeah, because you're out on the water. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Now, I might get into a gambling ship. 3, choose a cruise itinerary with a private island. Cruising in the Bahamas or the Caribbean. Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
Caribbean.
I do too, and I think it's Caribbean.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it sounds better to say Caribbean, but I think it's Caribbean. Anyway, I took a turn
Have
there.
I ever pronounced anything correctly? Let's just be honest.
Okay, so I just need to say, Tia, how would you say this word, and then say it the other way? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
I say Caribbean too, but it just sounds better. But all right, take a look at itineraries that offer a private island experience. If you love a good beach day where there's very little that you have to plan, this is for you. Cruise Line Private Island Days comes with a beach barbecue and the opportunity to just relax and enjoy some of the most beautiful beaches you can find. Often you can also snorkel by bringing your own equipment, or they usually have equipment for you to rent. Have you ever done the snorkeling?
No.
Wouldn't want to put my head underwater the whole time.
Okay, friends love to do that.
Yeah.
They love to do that.
Yeah. I'm afraid I would breathe in the water.
No, you wouldn't. Your snorkel's up
But what if I
on
put
top.
it underneath by accident? What if I go down too
I
far?
just don't like an ocean now because of the sharks.
Yeah.
I
But if
di-
you're on a private island, could they maybe have like a little bay that's clear enough water that you could just get just under
Baby,
enough?
Bahamas water, you can see, I mean, forever
Oh.
depth down. But
wow.
sharks are quick. Right?
That's
Bam!
true. I see you, shark. I see you.
Well, you're not going to outswim it.
You
I
stay on
promise. I'm hungry and I want one of those legs.
it. Yeah, I want to taste that. All right. Yeah, I'm not a snorkeler either. Yeah, I went to, I guess it was Disney World, and they had a beach resort, and everybody was snorkeling, and I thought, I don't know. I guess I feel like I would do it wrong. I'm going to practice in the bathtub first before I do that.
Okay.
Make sure I keep the snorkel above the water. All right. Dietary restrictions, and we're still talking about things to consider when you're booking your very first cruise. If you or someone in your party has a dietary restriction, gluten-free, kosher, vegan, know that cruise lines are very accommodating and will make every effort to provide you with a variety of food options. Did you know that? Did you know you could plan your food?
If you pay extra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see.
Otherwise, you're eating off the trough.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay. Food allergies are also something to take into consideration. That can be very important. So just ask.
Now, they are good at, like, instead of the buffet, like, they have kind of like, almost like a cafeteria where there's glass and then there's,
Yeah.
like, the chefs or whatever behind it. And then they'll place, like, this is not made with peanut oil or
okay.
things like that. They do that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Be prepared with a good packing list. Now, I know you can be helpful in this area, Tia, because you're very... I mean, you did screw up on your last trip and left all your blouses behind, all your tops behind.
Yes, I did.
So you had to go topless with your pants. Don't do like Tia did.
No.
Be prepared with a good packing list. Bringing too much or too little isn't good. I mean, that's obvious, but you certainly want to be prepared, but you still have to carry it all. You were just like we were talking about with the water. There's I'll include a link to practical packing list for a cruise here, because they have a little link for that. So, I mean, obviously you know yourself what you want to bring, but generally speaking, Tia, on a standard cruise that you've gone on, what type of outfits do you carry with you?
It depends on first how long the cruise is, and then you can look on their website at their itinerary, because there always is going to be at minimum one formal night, sometimes two. The longer the cruise, the more formal nights. Then the other nights, you have to book what time you want to eat, and then you'll eat at that time every single night. So, since we're going on my dad's trip, then my dad's probably booked for 6 or 6:30.
Okay.
I mean,
Tia's dad is owns a travel agency,
right.
so that helps you get organized too. I guess that's helpful. So anytime you book a cruise, you're going to go online and read all the rules, restrictions, and suggestions of what to bring and that kind of thing. Okay. Keep in mind here, you just said it. Keep in mind your cruise line's dress code. You'll need a couple of dressy formal outfits, just like you said. Or it might be a very casual cruise. Don't forget about the shoes. This woman writing this article, and I'll include a link, she says she likes to bring gold heels because she feels like that goes with anything, including dark jeans, gold pumps. that was always my problem with packing going on vacation was shoes. I'd bring so many shoes that take up so much room and were so heavy in my suitcase, as opposed to having a color theme of your wardrobe, and that way you only need like the dressy shoes and the, athletic shoes, but they're all in the same coloring. Do you do that? Do you kind of have a kind of a wardrobe color scheme anyway, don't you? You don't stray too much.
Well, I always have my, especially this time, we'll have walking shoes, and then I think it's easier, like especially if it's business casual, and not a formal. I mean, I'll take a pair of high heels that will go with both of my formal attire, and then dressy sandals, because they're just flat.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Like if they're bejeweled, nobody notices they're not high.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to wear high heels.
Right.
You don't want to wear high heels, especially with feet like mine.
Oh, mine.
If you're taking Mr. Bunyan along on the cruise with you, you don't want to wear high heels. He goes with me everywhere. No.
So does my extra large 1 foot. So.
Lefty. Or is that right?
Lefty.
This says, I was thinking about this, talking about clothes. The laundry, this said the 2 little secrets that'll save you time is Tide to Go and Downy Wrinkle Release. That way you've got the little pin in case you get a stain on something. Mm-hmm. And then your wrinkle release, so you don't have to get a steamer or iron or whatever.
My steamer's this big.
Tiny.
Okay.
Okay.
It's about the size of a cell phone.
Okay.
But it just holds a little amount of water. But I like to roll my clothes.
Okay.
And that way they have less wrinkles.
Yeah. That really does work.
Yes,
the rolling
it really does.
Now, do you have is there a laundry service on a cruise? Like if you had a long cruise?
Yes, they do. And they charge you for that as well.
Per item?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
And it's not like what you would pay at your local dry cleaning place.
So you can't just go down to a laundry room and wash your clothes and dry them?
I don't know. I've never done that.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it'll say here. I don't know. We need to make up a little list of, like your little steamer. That intrigues me. A little travel list for cruises. You include links for that. Maybe we'll do that. Do you have to pay up front for your whole thing?
Yes, you do.
Gratuities. This is pretty common knowledge. However, she's going to mention it here in case there's some confusion for new cruisers. On most cruises, passengers pay a cruise fare when they book their cruise, and gratuities or a service fee are charged daily to your cruise account once you're on board. So they get your credit card information and they just charge you as you. So you don't get to decide the percentage of the tip or anything like that. It's just added on to anything you have done. That's kind of a relief, because I'm always confused. Do I tip this guy that brought me a towel? Do I tip this person that opened the gate? I stayed at because it was a gift from a house sitting client. I stayed at a Ritz, and she said, be sure to take all your bills down with you for your tipping. And I thought, huh? They open the door for you when we walk out into the pool. They move your chair around for you. They open your umbrella. It's just constant. They have to make a living too. And I guess if you can't afford to do that, then maybe you can't. You have to consider that as part of your vacation.
But I don't like. I'd rather give the gratuity at the end, because we've had service that wasn't very good.
Right.
Especially on the room cleaning.
Oh, I see.
And you can choose to have your sheets changed or not changed, or your towels, you could reuse them or not. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, when there's still washcloths in your laying over the tub, when you come back to the room, they haven't even
they've not
cleaned
even been in there.
your bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
And then that fee would show up on your card at the end, even though they didn't show up. So you really look at your receipt at the end carefully.
Well, no, I mean, yeah,
Okay,
you know I do.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know if they provided it for you. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. I figure you just keep dollar bills.
But there's just a percentage that's added at the end of the cruise
that covers
period.
Everybody.
You can give more.
Oh, I see.
If you want, but you can't give less.
Okay.
They've already got a set gratuity.
Okay. So would somebody have to worry about, I guess it's different for different ships, but say I went on a cruise. Let's say I went on a cruise by myself and they said the gratuity would come at the end on my bill. I really wouldn't have to carry money around with me at the pool or anything like that. Nobody would think I was being a chintzy.
No.
You know what? Okay. Many passengers opt to prepay the gratuity before the cruise, which is a good option if it helps you budget your cruise expenses.
Mm-hmm.
The gratuities are used to tip your cabin steward and those that serve you in the dining room and the buffets. Something to note, though, additional tips will be charged when you make a beverage purchase, as this is not included in the daily gratuities.
Exactly.
Wow, I thought you could just get on a cruise ship and just get dropped down dead drunk and it was the same price.
No.
Good to know, good to know. Not that I would do that. Your food dining is included. Your food/dining is included. These days, when you look at your cruise planner, you will see that many cruise lines have specialty restaurants that look very enticing. By all means, if you would like to book an intimate or special evening on your cruise at a specialty restaurant, absolutely do so. However, what, Tia?
You're going to pay. I mean, I think the ones, at least one of the restaurants that I would have been interested is like $60 per person.
Oh, just a flat.
That's like $120.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I can do that.
if the dinner's really good, that's one thing. But you know, what if you got
Yeah.
and then you pay it, period, and then you'll have to put a gratuity on top of that as well.
Exactly. Yeah, this author says that sometimes it's worth it. You better keep it in mind, but sometimes the meal is really fab. You know, that's your big thing.
Right.
Your big thing you're going to do. Especially if you don't shop a lot at the ports, you know, and you're like, I enjoy the food. I enjoy putting my money into that, I guess. Beverage package do's or don'ts. Do calculate if purchasing the cruise line beverage package is a good value for you. Keep in mind that many cruise lines allow you to bring a couple of bottles of wine on board, although you will be charged a corkage fee.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many days you'll be off the ship in ports and do the math. Drinks on board can definitely add up. So depending on your consumption, this may or not be a money saver for you. So you could like day drink, you know, you go out in the restaurants. So I'm not going to drink on the ship. I'm going to go out to these cute little cafes and drink, you know. Do you agree with that? Does that sound accurate to you as far as beverages go? Okay.
Yes.
And you were telling me that even, it's so funny because we were talking about this before we even started and you didn't know we were going to be talking about cruise, and you were talking about how even soft drinks are, every single one is counted extra. Yeah. So what is the all-inclusive? Where does that come from?
Well, I think they used to have them. I mean,
okay.
I know they did, because I was like, when did we have to, you know, get a drink package and then pay for a different restaurant? Or I was like, golly, because
that's what you mean by it's really changed.
It's So I mean, it'll be interesting to let you know how it.
I can't wait. We'll get a report when you come back of how it went.
Yes.
Hopefully it won't be too interesting, because that means something terrible happened. You'll not believe you got pirates got on your ship or something. We'll talk a little bit about pirates.
Oh.
All right. Okay, embarkation day. Very important day. Get on board early and take time to explore the ship and grab a bite to eat. This is the first day of your cruise vacation, and you want to enjoy every minute. As well, by arriving early, you'll have the less stress getting to the ship port. Knowing you were in line before anybody. You were at the front of the line, right?
Right. But usually before the ship doors open. That's beside the point. But
What's the point?
Anyway, the lines that you have to stand in at the port are crazy.
Like long, you mean? Long. So, like, what is there, like several thousand people on a ship? Generally, a big ship?
Depending on it's crazy.
And do you have your luggage in your hand, or have you drop them off somewhere?
You've already dropped them. You drop them off there at the port, and then you stand in line to get on the ship. So then your luggage will show up at your room.
Okay.
Of course.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Mine has not sometimes.
Oh, no.
Just for fun.
I can understand if it was a plane, but a boat, a ship, they can't even get it to you. Oh, Lord. Consider joining a ship tour before the first day. Get there early, and that may be offered. And that way you get to get acquainted with where everything is. Have you ever just got I guess they have good maps, and now with phones and stuff, you don't get lost on a ship trying to find your way back to your room or trying to find the pool or all that kind of stuff. Or can you get lost on a ship?
Well, as long as you know where the front and the back of the ship are. and you know where your room is.
You're somewhere in the middle.
Yes. Then I mean, because they've got elevators, so that's obviously
Yeah.
usually right in the center of the ship,
Yeah.
or they may even have 3 separate elevators. So there'll be one in the front, one in the middle, one in the back.
Yeah.
So,
Do they have any kind of security, like you can't get on the floor that your room isn't in?
Not that, I mean, I'm sure that they probably do for people that have pent suites or penthouse suites or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do, but I mean, no, we've never stayed in something that they had security.
Wow, so you really want to keep your door locked, don't you? Okay, luggage delivery, that's what we were just talking about. Something experienced cruisers know is it can take a few hours until your luggage is delivered to your room. Make sure you have a good carry-on bag so you can carry on.
Yes.
Packed with your essentials, such as your medication. Oh my goodness, yes. Valuables. And a change of clothes and bathing suit and flip-flops. I guess just in case your luggage gets lost. Oh, that'd be terrible to be on a ship and have to wear your bikini every day.
No, not me. I'd be
Well, that might be
in
fun,
leggings
actually.
and my exercise clothes every single day.
All right.
Fun.
And a kids club. There's a kids club registry. Obviously, you've probably never experienced that. It's good old mom advice from many years of cruising, according to this woman, not me. Even if you have to register your children into the kids club online, go and visit during the afternoon open house style registration session. Your kids will be able to explore the kids club area and hopefully even meet a couple of other kids. It will be so much easier for them to come back the next night and next morning and not be afraid if they've already met a friend there. As a parent, you'll also be comfortable after meeting the cruise line's professional kids club staff. My cousin took her little girl on a Disney cruise, and she would leave her like a lot of the day, check her in, and I said, "Oh, that would make me a nervous wreck." And she said, "No, there's the security is. You wouldn't believe the security and the cameras. You can look in, you can check. You have a little tracker on them, and they give you a tracker and all that. But that would be so nice to be able to not have to worry and do your adult things,
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
so that's a good little point to know. All right, there's usually a welcome aboard show on the first night that you should go to. Does that sound familiar?
Okay, you have to go to the one where everybody's called on deck. Like you have your certain places that you're like. That's where you go if something were to happen, and that's where you evacuate
that's
and
probably
get
the
into your
port
little. Okay, that's when you're in your room, and then the captain will come on, and you'll have to grab your life vest.
Really?
And then go and stand at your station, and then they give a little speech, and that's always fun.
It's probably scary and a little boring, but you have to know what to do. You can't just
Yes.
be screaming and running every which direction. When
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one thing you probably really pay attention to. And they also have a talk where they tell you like where the shops are if you need certain things, kind of familiarize you with the ship. Currency in the ports. U.S. dollars are accepted all over this I'm going to say Caribbean cruise. So if you're on a Caribbean cruise, just bring your credit card and some cash, including some small bills for tips and small purchases. However, if you're cruising in Europe, Canada, Asia, or another destination, it's a good idea to have the local currency. Cruise lines and your travel agent can help you with this, as it can vary from port to port. Wow, I hadn't even thought about that. That's a little overwhelming. Like having money, and what do you do yourself as far as
Well, I mean, when we've been to Europe, we just use our credit card. That it doesn't have international fees, so we just use that instead of carrying cash, because I don't ever really carry a whole lot of cash, and then I always put my credit cards like inside of my
Your
sports
jacket or
bra or something.
Yeah, you don't want it be carrying it loose in your hand.
No, or even a purse that can just be ripped off.
Oh, right.
So no.
Right.
And if I do have a purse, it's actually a real small one, and then it has the sensor where somebody can't just use one of those machines and get your credit card number.
So it's
And
got
then
like
I
a
always
metal
put it like across my shoulder, where if they grab it, they're going to pull me down, and I'm going to go with it.
Right. Yeah, nobody wants you like that.
Right.
I don't mean
Nobody
that. I don't
wants-
mean that.
I don't.
Nobody wants to drag a woman around.
Thank you.
I just meant nobody wants to drag a human. They just want your purse.
Just for fun. Wow.
Dining room advice. Years ago, cruise lines offered a 4-course meal, soup or salad, appetizer, entree, dessert. In recent years, they've offered a 3-course meal menu. However, you may choose 2 appetizers or even 2 entrees if you like. She says she likes to have a salad with her meal. We don't have to worry about you on that. And often asks for it to be brought alongside my entree. What she's saying is it means don't expect to get everything included unless you're eating trough style, buffet style. Everything is separate.
You're not going to do that in the dining room.
Yeah.
Period.
Shore excursions. Plan your shore excursions and or research your cruise ports and make a tentative plan for what you'll do on that port. Many experienced cruisers express regret that on earlier cruisers without a plan, they simply wandered around the port. They didn't know where to go or what to do, and that can be disappointing. After planning your dream cruise, don't leave what you will do in each port to chance. Cruise lines have a lot of choices for activities and excursions, which is where I always start to look for ideas, is what she said. So do you have your whole thing planned, like what you do at each port on this particular cruise or on past cruises?
I don't make plans. Greg has plans to scuba dive, and then I'll just go out with the women, and we just usually walk around, and then the other days they're not scuba diving, then I don't know what their excursions are. Greg and I just like to just get out and just wander around. And another thing too, sometimes you pay a lot more if you book prior to going, because there's a whole lot of times, and obviously you want to be careful, but you can get it for a lot less expensive with the locals. Like if you just say, hey, I'd really like to go up on whatever mountain or, down wherever. Yeah. And then, you can barter with them.
Interesting. Great
However, you do want to, obviously have safety in mind.
Yeah.
You just don't want to get in a car with. Exactly. Yeah. But normally they're there as you get off the ship, and you pretty much are going to tell the people that are legit and that are not.
Okay. So as a novice here, what I'm hearing you say is, if I could save money by not booking all my activities through the website before I go, just to go out and say, does anybody do hang gliding, or take me to this cathedral or whatever. As you're getting off the ship, you see those people.
Right. See, that's what my dad's the best at. He gets off the ship as soon as I open the door, and then he goes and he finds the best deals on everything that people are really wanting to do. Like if he can get like a group of, say, 30 that want to do the same thing, he can get a much better deal. So especially if you're not traveling just by yourself, and you're with a tour director or whatever, they'll do that for you. My dad gets things like, when I forgot where it was, but he actually got, and it was like a mini bus, and they served them like little margaritas or something, and it cost each person $5.
Wow.
And it was for the whole day.
Wow.
Took them around everywhere, but that kept feeding them margaritas. How I don't know how they did it.
That's great. So it's good to go through somebody who's got a lot of experience. I wouldn't think as a single woman going on a cruise you would want to just barter with somebody in a sedan of going somewhere. You want to stick with the crowd, even if you don't know the crowd. Stick with the crowd on the ship.
Right.
And I can see what you're saying. If you're experienced and have cruised a lot, then you know how to negotiate and who to trust, and just go off on your own with your partner or whatever. Right. And I could see that's good tip, Tia.
I'm a good tipster sometimes.
You are. Tia's Tips. We have a new episode.
Tips.
Seasickness. Although cruise ships have stabilizers that minimize ship movement, there are times when you may feel some motion, and some people are affected by this. It's a good idea to be prepared for seasickness just in case. There's some items that you could bring, like motion sickness patches, wristbands. They work like with acupressure on your wrist to help your nausea. They also have those for children. Bovine motion sickness relief chewable tablets. Dramamine. We'll ask Tia here what works for her. Ginger candies. Interesting. If you want to go all natural. All right, what is your experience with seasickness?
as long as you stay, the only time I've ever gotten seasick ever, we were like maybe the second floor. The higher you go up and the more that you're towards the middle of the ship, you don't feel anything.
Okay.
But if you happen to get seasick, the best thing to do is just go up on the deck of the ship and sit there with the breeze. And if the passing, then just shut your eyes and it'll go away. Soft serve ice cream works really well too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good Tia tip. That's fun too.
I know it.
I guess anything
Or
cold.
maybe it's because I was just liking soft serve. I don't know.
I'm doing it for medical purposes. Well, I'm moving ahead, but we'll just talk about it now. I saw a thing that's said on here when you're booking your room, if you can choose your room and see a diagram of the ship, always get in the middle because of that very thing. Each end is going to dip.
Right.
And I don't know, are the rooms like less expensive on the ends of the ship? Because I guess that's something everybody knows.
Because the ones in the middle are usually ones, or at the the top, and then the both ends. Those are where you've got your wraparound balconies with the suites. Now those are most expensive, but Greg and I have a balcony, and our friends have balconies. That there's no way I could stay in a room that had just a window. Or had no window.
So it feels very confining and
yes, and
claustrophobic.
I mean, because just the passing of the ocean and everything, it takes you about, 10 minutes to get used to it.
Mm-hmm. And when you get off the boat, do you feel like you're still on water?
You feel you have sea legs. I have sea legs like 2 days after I get off a ship.
Wow.
Like I'll be walking, like doing laundry or whatever, and all of a sudden I'll just like go. And I mean, it's like
noodle legs.
Yes, it is. It's exactly like
That's so
that.
strange. That's so funny. All right, cruise lingo. While we cruisers laugh at this, there really is a vocabulary unique to cruising. Muster drill. Do you know what that is?
Yes, that's what I was talking about. When you have to go up.
Okay, very good. I'm giving you a quiz. I told you I wasn't. Port side. Is that the left or the right?
I know you can.
Starboard is the other.
Right.
She doesn't say here, so we'll have to look it up. Lido deck. I always saw that on Love Boat. The Lido deck. I just thought that was what they called it on the Love Boat. So every ship has a Lido deck. Lido. Whatever you... Go ahead. I'm sorry, honey.
No,
you don't have to answer it. I'll Google it in a second.
I know it though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's just.
I know you have a lot of
board.
I know you have a lot of boat experience and ship experience. Why don't you just Google it on your little phone there? Whatever you do, try to avoid calling the ship a boat. See, I've been trying to do that all this whole show. Call it a ship. Trust me on this. Brush up on a little cruise lingo and you'll fit right in. If there's something that isn't to your liking, or if you have a complaint, my advice is to always handle it on the ship. Please don't let things go and complain once you're off the ship. Cruise lines and the staff on board really do want you to be happy. They will do their utmost when you're on board to make things right. This is a time to address any concerns. Remember that no matter how you prepare or how much research you do, there will always be things that will surprise you and things that you didn't plan for. Let that be a part of the fun and try not to let it affect you. So just kind of go with the flow.
Right.
Okay, it was bugging us, so we just, in all transparency, we stopped recording and we Googled parts of a ship. And the bow is the front of the ship. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tia. Aft is the back, which is easy to remember because aft sounds like part of your body. That's the back. Port is left.
Yeah, and starboard is right. And Lido is where the pool.
Yeah, because Lido is an Italian term for a big pool or a big place where people swim. Might be a natural swimming place. You just want to be cool when you get on the ship and try to use those terms. So I'll include in the notes. How about that? That's a good solution. All right, Tia, let's move on.
Okay.
These are just some little tidbits of information about ships, and you probably know them all, but our listeners may not. Number one, cruise ships have a morgue on board. It's probably not something you like to think about, but perhaps this cruise ship fact isn't a fun one, but it's true. Many people wonder if cruise ships have a morgue on board. That's hard to say. It's like smorgasbord, a morgue on board.
Wow.
So they all have a smorgasbord, and they also have a morgue on board. This isn't something cruise lines like to publicize, but of course people die anywhere, even on a cruise vacation. So all cruise ships sail with a morgue, usually located on the lowest decks away from the passengers. So I heard someone the other day who cruises a lot say that usually about 3 people die on like a 2-week cruise.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're older, they have heart attacks, they probably pushing themselves too
So
much.
they have to stay there until...
They put them down in the morgue and keep them on ice, I guess. Just don't go wandering down in the bottom of the ship.
Oh, I won't. I promise.
There's no dentist on board. That's number 2. On your cruise ship, there will be a medical staff, usually a ship doctor and nurse. However, should you have a dental emergency, you're kind of stuck. You'll have to wait until you arrive at your next port to go see a dentist. That'd be like me getting like an impacted.
Oh, God.
Wouldn't that be miserable?
That would be horrible.
Oh, my gosh.
That really would be
I know. I
horrible.
was just thinking about the boat rocking back and forth and your head is about to explode. Ugh.
No, I've been to the infirmary on this ship.
Have you? What happened? Or do you want to say?
I went into shock. That's when my mom passed.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
Well, no, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
but they have infirmaries. I mean, it's like a little tiny hospital.
Wow. Yeah, for those who are just listening the first time, Tia's mom passed away unexpectedly while she was on a cruise. And how long did you have to be on the ship?
For 2 days.
Wow. Longest days of your life.
We left Venice, and so I don't even remember. I think I blocked it out. I don't remember where the port was that we got off and flew out. But
Wow.
it was horrible.
Bless your heart. Oh, my goodness. Can't even imagine. I'm sorry to bring that up. All right. There's a
Well,
water...
at least I wasn't in the morgue.
That's true. That's true. Oh. Ooh. There's a water filtration plant on your ship. Now, that makes sense. They would have to filter the water. Or you might think that they had a bunch of bottled water, but they have to cook and everything with the water. There's a water filtration plant right on board. The water is 100% safe to drink on a cruise ship. See, that's another good thing, because a lot of times when you go to other countries, they tell you not to drink the water, but you could drink it on the ship and then go out and on an excursion and come back. And you could probably even fill up a water bottle and take it with you.
Yeah,
like
if you're going to pack a water bottle.
That's a good idea to bring like a Stanley cup or whatever.
Hey, I'm just saying, you're saying all these big things. You don't have room. A Stanley cup would take a place of shoes for me.
That's true. Do you want shoes or do you want hydration?
Yeah,
Shoes.
which one?
Shoes.
Shoes, of course.
All right. We haven't said this word in a while, I don't think, but poop. What happens to poop on a ship? Do you have any idea, Tia?
No. They just know you flush it.
Where does it go, you think?
I'm sure they have holding tanks because they do not let it out in the ocean.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, let's read and find out. While some cruise ships have gotten into some trouble over the years, overall they do a pretty good job at handling lots of waste disposal on a big cruise ship. It's pretty surprising they actually have an entire waste disposal facility right on board. Can you imagine how much poop?
No, can you imagine how much waste, period?
Just all the food scraps.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's just overwhelming. We don't have to worry about it though, but it is overwhelming to think about. Each week, a large cruise ship goes through 20,000 ice cream cones. We were just talking about your soft serve ice creams. 20,000 ice cream cones. And Tia ate about
5,000.
5,000. They actually have a midnight buffet. How have you found, like, can you go out in the middle of the night and get something to eat?
Yes. Like pizza,
Fun.
hot dogs, which you turned me off with those. Thank you. Yeah, you can get, you can always get something.
Yeah. During a 7-day cruise, a large ship will use over 45,000 eggs, 1,800 pounds of coffee, and 9,000 pounds of lettuce. She says, I can only imagine how much pizza they go through, what you just said. Is it good pizza or is it like...
No, the pizza's to die for.
Is
it's
it
yum.
fancy? Oh, wow. I figured it was like the frozen yucky kind.
It's really good.
Okay, here's
People start lining up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Oh, cool. Do you pay by the slice?
That is free.
Oh, the pizza's included.
Yes.
I could live on pizza. Speaking of which, the average cruiser gains £1 a day.
Not if they're walking 90.
No, you won't. You won't. You've probably heard that the cruise food is amazing, and in turn, many people gain as much as £1 a day on a cruise. I will say from experience that is probably true. Again, this is this lady speaking, not me. Some cruisers will say it's even more than a pound a day. The reality is that on a cruise, you eat and drink differently than at home. While many people do gain weight on a cruise, there are ways to avoid doing major damage. Take the stairs, use the gym, and the jogging track, which Tia will be doing.
A lot.
Otherwise, it could be more. I used to gain a whole bunch of weight in Las Vegas because when I used to go, the food was free or almost
Exactly.
free. Yeah, and then
Or you could get a huge steak and for what?
like
$2.
$4.99 or
It
something.
was dumb. It was
Yeah.
just crazy. You're
Yeah.
like, I want that big steak, man.
I know. And if you were as long as you were gambling, they'd bring you free drinks. Now none
Right.
of that's you just tip. But oh my gosh,
Not
all the
now.
alcohol. Ooh, yeah, I would be so bloated when I left there, bloated and broke.
Loaded and broke. That's pretty.
The crew have their own bars and buffet on the crew decks. Although the crew works so hard, they definitely have a good time while working on a cruise ship. Cruise ship staff tell us they have plenty of fun and an active life on the lower decks, down in the morgue, I guess, with some fun crew parties. Keep in mind this area is off limit for passengers. I've often wondered if I would enjoy, when I was younger, I did, working on a cruise. Not forever, just part-time, go out on a, I don't know if I could stand it or not.
I don't know. Because,
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of trapped. It's a floating city that you're trapped on with a bunch of crazy people. I mean, I'm sure they could tell a crazy
it's
story.
just, the only thing that just really annoys me is it's like, not all, obviously, but some people, buffet, they're piling their plates like they've not eaten in like months.
Right.
And it's like,
Well, there used to be a
calm
restaurant
down.
called.
It's going to be here.
Nobody else is going to get it. I know it's like a local steakhouse place we had. And it may be a chain, Ryan's. I can remember Ryan's Buffet, all you could eat. And they would pile it so high and then leave half of it on their plate. Ugh.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Eat a little bit and
You
then
can
go
come
back.
That's just what kills me.
Yeah, it kind of turns me off the food, too, when I'm seeing them piling it all.
Oh.
I mean, I eat anyway, but it kind of turns me off. Deck 13 is missing. You probably knew that. Due to superstition.
Right.
Some ships don't have a deck 13. It's a bit funny to be in an elevator and see the numbers 11, 12, 14, 15. Now,
Right.
skyscrapers are like that too, aren't they? Generally, most buildings, I think. Maybe not. And some cruise ships don't have a 17 because that's a Italian superstition is the number 17. But you didn't know that.
I did not know that. But Taylor Swift's favorite number is 13.
Is it?
I don't know where that came from.
We have a Swiftie here.
No, I'm really not. That just came out. I don't know why.
It's okay. Taylor's on everybody's mind lately.
Well,
We're being overtaken by Taylor. All right. Did you know this, Tia? There's a naughty room on a ship. That's what many passengers call it when they are called down to a special room when the ship's crew has found something naughty in their luggage that has to be confiscated. It might be alcohol that you're not permitted or an iron or something else. It's actually not the end of the world, but if you'd rather not end up down there, best not try to sneak any alcohol, which seems to be the most common reason. Did you know that? Well, that other article said you could bring 2 bottles of that off the ports
yes.
from other countries.
Right.
So when you get something there, you have to declare it as you're getting back on the ship.
Right.
Okay. It's because, like you said, I bet some people go and buy jewelry at a better rate, like high ticket things, and then they don't want to pay, I guess, tax or fee. I don't know how all that works, so they try to sneak it back on. Interesting. Well, you don't want to go to the naughty room. Now, your eyes lit up like you thought it was going to be something.
Well, I mean, I was just kind of like,
The naughty
I've
room.
never been to the naughty room, so I had no idea it existed.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. There is a cruise ship jail, or they call it the brig on the water. This is a true fact. Cruise ships have a sort of lockup room, just in case they need to keep someone who is unruly or is suspected of having committed a crime until they arrive at the next port. I mean, that's true. You could be on the ship with a criminal. I mean, and I'm sure there's attacks that happen sometimes, and SA, things like that happen, and they have to keep people locked up. That's creepy. You've never been there, I guess, have you?
No, never been there either.
No naughty room, no brig.
Nope.
I want wonder if they would arrest you if you got really drunk and belligerent. I guess they would.
Well, yeah.
I mean, everybody there is publicly drunken, so they can't arrest you for public drunkenness. But
Well, not everybody's drunk.
they're not.
Silly? No.
I
No.
thought that's what
Not
they were
at
there
all.
for. Oh, okay.
No.
I thought it was just a big drunk ship.
No. Not at all.
Okay. Cruise cabin walls are metal. Wait a minute. This cruise ship fact surprises many cruisers. Yes, cabin walls and doors are metal. Cruise cabin walls are metal for numerous safety reasons, including fire. Oh, gosh, I hadn't thought about a fire on a ship. So they go over that with you, too, on the talk about what to do. I guess jump off the boat. That's what you do, right?
No. If you have you're assigned a little boat, a rubber boat with your life jacket and a crew person that is in charge of you and X amount of people.
So you climb into the boat that's up high, tied to the side, and then they lower the raft.
Right.
You don't have to leap
Raft
into
is
the
what
raft.
I was looking for.
I think
Thank you.
Oh, scary. So because these walls are metal, most of the things in your cabin are too. It says a hack is to bring magnetic hooks, and that way you can put them on your walls and your doors and hang stuff from them. So that's a good little tip. You cannot bring an iron or a steamer. Oh, Tia, you bring a steamer?
Yeah, I can. I've taken one every single time I've gone.
You're going to end up in the naughty room, girl.
I probably will.
Well, experienced cruisers know this. Many first-time cruisers ask about bringing an iron or a steamer on board. Of course, cruise lines take fire safety seriously, which is why you can't bring this item. A steamer is just water.
Right.
It
I
puts
mean,
out a
if
fire.
you're going to say aren't to that, then you're going to have to say no to hot rollers, to curling irons.
Hair dryers?
I
Yeah,
mean,
anything you
that's
plug in.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
That's interesting, yeah.
I mean, I told you, my steamer is the size of a cell phone.
Right.
So there's no way.
Cruise ship internet isn't like internet on land. This may go without saying for seasoned cruisers, but this fact might surprise you if you're cruising for the first time. Internet on a cruise just isn't the same as on land. Wi-Fi has been limited, slow, and pretty expensive for years.
Very.
Oh, tell me what you know about that.
$18.96 per person
For
a day.
a day.
A day. You know what?
So you're really just not going to be on your phone or anything?
Oh, yes, because I'm going to do WhatsApp.
Okay.
Because I can talk to people, text, and everything, and it doesn't cost anything.
So that's a good tip. What do people do? Do they download an app?
Yes,
Okay.
it's WhatsApp.
Oh.
That's what it's called, silly.
What app?
What?
I know, but what is it? What's it called?
WhatsApp.
I know it's an app, but what is it? Who's on third?
I'm going to... You're not.
What app?
You haven't passed... I don't know. You haven't hit the ball yet. For whatever reason. I don't know.
It says many cruise lines are now using Starlink, and cruise Wi-Fi packages are becoming more affordable. But we're going to do Tia's tip, and we're going to get the name of this app here for you.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
I'm just kidding.
See?
I've heard of it. Yeah, so do that, guys. Download the WhatsApp on your phone before you go. So that's just is that free? Is WhatsApp free?
Yes,
Oh, that's
it
cool.
is.
Great tip, Tia. There's a dog kennel on some cruise ships. Can you imagine bringing your family pet on your cruise? Now, some ships. While it's actually an ocean liner, you're able to bring your dog on a cruise or transatlantic crossing of Cunard's Queen Mary 2. The QM2 has a kennel on board with limited space for small and large dogs. So that's just that particular ship. I mean, I know if they allowed dogs,
I've never seen a dog.
You've never seen a dog on a cruise
Uh-uh.
ship? That would be fun. They ought to have a special cruise ship just for your pup. You know, and you'd have to drive to the embarkation port. You know, you wouldn't want to fly with a bunch of dogs, but that would be cool. But I wonder if they would jump off. They might jump. That would be scary.
They have to jump pretty high.
Okay, we'll talk
The
about
railings are high.
Some people retire on a cruise ship. Tia and I have talked about this before, and I just read an article about a couple that they retired and they have booked 51 cruises in a row for now, and they're going to see if they live. They'll do 51 more because it was cheaper than the retirement home, which is sad, but maybe they got a good deal. But so I don't know if they're like a week, because that'd be like a year. There'd be a year on a cruise ship. All right, so like I said, some people retire on a cruise ship. all joking aside, there are few people who have actually retired on a cruise ship that claim that it's more affordable than a quality seniors residence. That may be a old wives' tale that it really is. I don't know. Most cabins don't really have queen or king size beds. Cruise cabins aren't equipped with a queen or king size bed. Instead, twin beds are usually pushed together for those who want to sleep in a larger bed. So the same cabin with two twins will convert to a king.
That's exactly right.
Now, do you get any sleep at all on a cruise ship between the rocking back and forth and the...
Baby, you don't rock.
Okay.
You don't.
You don't know you're on a ship when you're asleep and your eyes are closed. Are the beds comfortable?
Yeah, I mean they're fairly. I mean they're not your bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're not
just like
what
a
you're
hotel.
used
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean they're very comfortable.
And is this a standard room, like really small? Like you stand up by the bed and you just take 2 steps into the bathroom and it's
The
real
ones
small?
that have no windows and you can shower and then touch the bed at the same time.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
That's what I figured.
Okay, but like what we're staying in is like a suite,
Okay.
so it's like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about it, you're not going on a cruise to sleep luxuriously. You're going to be out and doing things and to travel safely and experience things. So the sleep is kind of you just want to be able to lay down and sleep so you can get up and go the next day. So, unless you're in one of those fancy penthouse suites. Okay, Tim, let's see if you know this. Just who is Bill W. and Dorothy, and why do they have friends on every cruise? Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Have you ever noticed in the Daily Planner or perhaps written on a billboard that there may be a meeting or gathering for, quote, friends of Bill W. or friends of Dorothy? You've never seen that? Absolutely no judgment, she says, but I wondered on my first few cruises, just what is this about? So I figured some of you wonder too. Friends of Bill W. is Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. So it's just a code word for AA meeting, which is great that they have that there. Because you can imagine being on a ship with all that alcohol would be very tempting. Friends of Dorothy, how do I say this? Friends of Dorothy is a gathering for people who have more adventurous, romantic lifestyles. Let's just say that.
Okay. Well, there you have it. See?
Something for everyone. So if you aren't into, if it's Marge and Howard on the ship, they don't accidentally sign up for the Friends of Dorothy if you are not adventurous romantically. Does that make sense? I don't know how to say Skip on. Skip TSA. Move on.
Yeah. That's not.
All right. You can read the link to this article if you want the details. All right. Cabin door decorations may be sending a message. Cabin door decorating on cruises is a thing to do. On some cruise ships, more than others. Do you do that? Decorate your door?
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Do people do it?
Yes. I mean, like some people are on a honeymoon. So then, the ship actually does it for them. And then, some people that have like anniversaries, that it's going to happen. They'll bring like a little heart or something.
Okay.
And just put it on their door and stuff like that.
Okay. So the crew is doing it for people,
well,
not themselves.
no, some people decorate their own doors.
Okay.
Maybe that's why they wear the same outfit every day.
Because they didn't have room for their clothes. Or they're barefoot. Can you walk around barefoot on a cruise ship? I mean, there's a pool. Or if you get off the Lido deck, do you have to put shoes on?
You know something? I don't think I've ever even thought about that. I mean, I always have shoes on because.
Yeah.
Blah.
Oh, because you think about all the germs on the deck. Do you see them cleaning the decks and stuff? Do you see a lot of cleaning going on?
They're literally cleaning from when the sun comes up until the sun goes down. Even painting.
Wow.
I'm not
it's
kidding.
Constant, probably
Yes,
painting.
it
Paint
is.
one side, the other side's
But
chipped.
I mean, you think about like, okay, you're gonna say see, but I mean, like
Me?
some people may partake of too much to
Yeah.
drink, and then, I've seen people throw up on the.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, they have to clean that up immediately because it's a hazard.
Right.
So just because they're constantly like mopping or wiping or constantly.
Yeah, because you hear of flus and viruses going around shutting the whole ship down, and they can't even come back to port until So you got to hose that stuff off the edge of the boat.
That's why I'll have my.
What do you do? Do you take any kinds of medicines or? Yeah, I was going to ask. Yeah,
Purell.
Purell. Yeah, so you'll clean everything, and do you? Well, they have the infirmary there if people get sick. Have you ever been sick on a ship other than? That's good. Oh, that would be miserable too. All right. Well, there's a little guide to decorating your door. I don't know if we want to go into it.
Oh boy.
Since you're not into it, I imagine this is the people who cruise a lot. I mean, I tell you, they've got like statues and stockings and just craziness. Look it up, guys, if you want to decorate your door. I wouldn't recommend it for a first cruise. They even have contests on some ships. Not all cruises have formal nights. As much as some people love the idea of getting dressed up on a cruise for formal nights, some don't. They may even hesitate to book a cruise worrying that they've got to dress to the nines. I mean, you don't have to go to those events, do you?
If you want to have dinner.
Oh, I see. You can't go eat without. I got you.
Well, you could go out to the Lido deck and have pizza.
Have pizza all the time. There are some cruises where you can get really fancy tuxes and gowns. That would be kind of fun. Many cruise lines are maintaining tradition when easing cruise line dress codes. So some of them, they do it, and that's the way it is. Apparently the cruise you're going on is too. Consider chatting with a travel agent, Tia's dad, who can go over your options and help you, guide you. I think that's a good idea if it's your first cruise, to get some help. The cruise ship pools are filled with seawater. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. So they're salt water. Mm-hmm. Seawater is used to fill cruise ship pools, however, it does go through a filtering process. Okay. Cruise ship iced tea is unsweetened because they don't brew it hot.
Right.
But what about coffee? I guess they use coffee pots for that.
Yes.
Cruise ships have godmothers. As tradition would have it, cruise ships are christened and each has a godmother. Usually it's, some pretty famous ones are Princess Kate for Royal Princess, Oprah Winfrey for the Niu State Dam ship. I don't know that. Reba McEntire for Norwegian Epic, Sophia Loren for the MSC Divina, and it goes on and on. Jennifer Hudson for Disney Dream. I wonder who the godmother of your ship is. Some cruise ships have ice skating rinks. The Church of Scientology has a cruise ship, in case you're interested in that, Tia.
Not at all.
The carpets in the hallways of a ship are there to help you. There are different colored pattern carpets on the port side, the left, and the starboard, the right. That way you know where you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's smart. I was just asking you, how do you know if you're facing left? Where's the front or the aft and the bow? I remembered.
That was good.
Thank you. Cruise ships travel about 20 knots per hour. That's about 1.15 miles, so about 23 miles an hour. They can go faster. They generally don't, but they will if they're trying to outrun a choppy sea. Have you ever been on a ship that was in a real choppy weather? Ugh.
Please don't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I don't want to jinx your cruise.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I've been planning on doing a cruise show for a long time. It just happened to coincide. Royal Caribbean is the largest cruise ship company in the world. Miami is the cruise ship capital of the world. You can go on a Friends-themed cruise. That would be fun. Over 30 million people went on a cruise this year. That doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
30 million and one, if you count Tia.
I haven't been yet.
That's true. We mentioned pirates. No, not the ones that go "arr." But there have only been 6 reports of pirates attempting to attack ships over the last 10 years. So I think you're pretty safe there. They probably wouldn't look like Johnny Depp.
No, probably not.
But they do have a system, to prepare for attack if they get an idea that there might be one. So that's good to know. All right, let's talk about something that you mentioned, people going overboard on a ship. At least 10 people have gone overboard on major cruise lines in 2023. 2 of these people were rescued and survived. The other 8, they're probably living on a deserted island, drinking out of a coconut or something. Despite these...
Don't think so.
Trying to keep it light. Despite these cases, overboard incidents are very rare. In reality, 1 or 2 people go overboard each month. That sounds like a lot to me. Out of roughly 2.5 million who cruise within that time frame. So that is a small percentage. Between 2009 and 2019, there have been 212 man overboard incidents on cruise ships. That roughly works out to about 19 people a year. How many people are found after falling off a cruise ship, Tia?
I don't know, because you have to try really hard to climb. That's just dumb.
Yeah. Only 17 to 25% of the fallen passengers survive. Which that makes sense. I mean, once you fall into the water, if someone sees you fall, sometimes normally people fall off like at 3 o'clock in the morning because they've had a lot to drink or they're doing something silly, or they may be doing it intentionally for whatever reason, jumping off. By the time somebody discovered you're missing, you'd be miles and miles away if you survived the fall and the temperature of the water and all that. But if you happen to see someone fall over, they said sometimes people are just looking down and then the ship hits a choppy water and they flip off. If you happen to see that, it says never take your eyes, if it's in the middle of the day and there were crowds of people, never take your eyes off that person because they will just disappear in that choppy water. You think you'll find them again, but keep your eye on them. Try to find the ring to throw, the life preserver to throw, and have someone else call the deck because you don't want to take your eye off of them. And if no tips for surviving in the water, I mean, float on your back, I guess, scream and yell. But they recently found a guy after 20 days. No, 20 hours.
Okay. I'm like, 20 days, bull. I don't know where you got that.
He was holding on to a float. 20 hours, I mean, that's pretty incredible. But they say in 5 minutes, the ship is going to be a mile away from you.
Yes.
So that's pretty helpless. It says a Carnival cruiser who fell off the ship over Thanksgiving of 2022 made headlines. He spent close to 20 hours in the Gulf of Mexico. The water was warm, fortunately for him, so he didn't go into hypothermia. And maybe he didn't fall from such a high height because it's like jumping off a building, hitting water, that high up. So I would say just, I think it's a combination of alcohol, being silly, trying to do something acrobatic. And they certainly have rules about where you should be and areas you shouldn't be. And people think, I'm going to climb over there to that. It's mostly stupidity. I mean, I'm sorry for people who fall over on, and sometimes people push people in a fight. They did rescue a woman recently, too. She survived. I don't have the details here, but I read that. Which ship did you say you're going on? Carnival Cruise Line has had 55 overboard accidents in their history. Royal Caribbean 39 and Norwegian Cruise 20. I mean, that's so small. I can think about all
Royal Caribbean.
Okay.
One, so at least it's
you're not the worst.
yeah, not the worst. That's good.
So I would say, just to conclude this, because we're running along here, there's so many stories that I read about crazy stuff that have happened on ships, and the crew themselves you can imagine what the crews have seen and how they've been treated by people and the kooky stories they have. There's probably some books to read. I'll look for some of those. But just in conclusion, I would say, as a person who's never been interested in going on a cruise, it helps me to understand all this and what you've told me. The unknown is sometimes scary. You're not sure how you would feel once you got there. But I think being prepared, I think a travel agent's a good idea for your first cruise, and those kind of tips. And
why don't you just go with people that have been on a cruise before?
That makes sense. Go with the group. Go with friends you trust that can guide you through these towns. It's really a relatively, I won't say inexpensive, but a more affordable way to see the world, as opposed to flying to a country and staying in a hotel and then flying to another country. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And you kind of get to see the best of that, what that city has to offer, if you're guided and stuff. I mean, you've seen a lot of countries, and I think you said Italy was your favorite of the places you've been.
Love, 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 love. But, I mean, I like the Caribbean, too. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, I just think anything that you get to do that is not just normal, that you see every single day, it's just exciting. And, the age I am now, I do appreciate it more. And I will probably, when I'm not walking, I'm going to take a lot more in. Because I'll be able to take a lot of views of the ocean going around that track 9,452 times.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice view You know?
Yes, and it it's not like on a treadmill, and it's not like just going in just a circle, because I mean your scenery's changing, even though it might
Constantly,
just
yeah.
be water.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get to see a dolphin or
Oh,
something.
true. That could be and I'm seriously saying this, a very spiritual experience. To be alone walking and looking at that water all around you.
I know, but what do I do when I walk? I listen to praise music.
Yeah.
So
You'll have those arms in the air, won't
Oh,
you?
I know, I will. And everybody will probably be waving like, why is she waving at me? Oh, no, I was waving at God, sorry.
Move out of the way, I'm waving at God. They'll be like, me?
And would you please get out of my way?
There's that crazy lady walking fast around the ship.
No. But they do have different lanes for, like, the faster walkers.
Oh, they do?
Yes, they do.
Well, that's fun. I'd say there'll be a lot of people walking, staying in shape. And then they do have a gym, right?
Yes, they have. Oh, my stepsister stays in the gym all day.
Oh, wow.
I mean, she's good.
Good for her.
She's
She can
really
eat all
good.
the pizzas and ice cream she wants then.
Yeah, period. She can. I'm just thinking, I hope that the 2 dress-up things are like at the end of the trip. So I can work
your
out
feet
more.
work.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I can fit in them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Hello.
Stay away from that.
Yep.
Soft serve machine and that pizza. All right, Tia, I'm so glad we had this show because you knew so much and gave a lot of good tips. I hope that helped people, and because I know nothing about it. And when you get back, I hope you have a lot of great experiences and no pirates or anything like that.
No pirates, nobody overboard,
No
nobody in the
toothaches.
morgue, nobody impacted tooth, anything. I mean, wow. Now, this is the very first time I've ever been horrified about going on this ship.
Oh no! I didn't.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, well, we better shut this down. And I was going to try to think of a ship joke.
Okay, can we?
Go to the Lido deck. What were you going to say?
Let's say bye-bye.
Okay. How about ahoy? Or is that hello?
I don't know.
What did Captain Steubing say?
I don't.
I'll just say, ahoy, mateys. De bon voyage. That's what we say.
Yeah.
Bon voyage, everybody.
Yeah.
Say bon voyage.
Bon voyage. I don't know why I'm doing this and waving. Because, wow, I'm hurting myself right now. Okay. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
We would love to hear from you.
Leave your questions or comments on our voicemail by visiting our website at denaandtia.com. Your message may be played on the show.
You can find our Instagram and Facebook links there too.
Again, that's denaandtia.com.
Thanks for listening.